Okay, a quick one. Hello and welcome. Some of you will know what kombucha is. It's like, I'll tell you more about it, but kombucha is a thing that I've been interested in for a long time, and it dates back to when I was living in Sweden, and I would find myself just having a lot of free time by myself, and I wanted to experiment with fermentation. And I had some friends who were into homebrew beers, and I didn't think I could be that technical yet. And so I just wanted to learn about different ways. And so my mum used to make ginger beers, and that's made by you fill a little jar up with ginger, and we've got ginger. I can do this later. Oh yes. Okay. You fill a little bowl up with ginger and sugar and water, and the ginger starts to ferment itself by eating the sugar. And then after a while, you can add that to maybe just plain water or juice or just more stuff so that it eats and fizzes, and then after a few days it explodes in my mum's laundry, or you burp it until it's at the right time and then you drink it. And so I was like, all right, I'll try that. And so I had a ginger starter, and then I started hearing about mead, like honey wine. And the basic idea of honey wine is a lot of honey, some yeast, a lot of water, and like nutrients, which was, I think, sultanas that time, so that it has something else to eat as the yeast eats the sugar. And then you just leave it for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's like wine, you then bottle it and then wait for ages. And so I think I waited for 5 months, and then just as I left Sweden, we drank some of it, and that's pretty good. And I'd like to do that again, but then honey is super cheap here if you know someone who has honey, but I don't know anyone with honey. So if any of you have some honey, I want it so I can make mead. And then kombucha is like a non-alcoholic fermented drink that you use this weird thing called a scoby, or here it's called a Arvatos gripus, like a tea mushroom. And it's like this gross mass of yeasts and blah, blah, blah. And you chuck it in black tea, usually, black sweet tea. And as the gross, scoby, alien mother thing eats the sugar, it turns the liquid or the tea into kombucha, which is like a probiotic, so it's super good for your gut. And it's super tart. Or, what's vinegar? Vinegar is like tart, and if you leave this for too long, then it pretty much turns into vinegar. So you can make kombucha vinegar, I think, but if you time it right, it can be a little bit sweet or a little bit dry, and then you put extra flavouring. So in Sweden I was making it with orange, and that makes it really fizzy. You can do it with berries. One of my friend's mum used to make a ton of ginger and lemon because he was kind of sick, and they found that the probiotics made his system like clean itself pretty good, and so it made him feel real good. So I want to do it just because it's fun and I can experiment with tastes, and because I like tea. Like I love drinking tea. Like we have this huge collection of teas, if you can see it, and maybe I'll do one day show you all of my teas. But if I want a cool drink, I know I'm thinking of doing just iced tea, but then iced tea is sometimes too sugary. See, I don't like sugary drinks. I like beer because it's not too sugary and it has all of these different flavours. I like tea because I don't put any sugar in it. And I love coffee because I don't put sugar in it. So I need like a cool drink that I can experiment with flavours. And this is the easiest one. Like I think one day I'll brew beer, that's the dream. And then you can get complex flavours out of that if you want. But this, and then I've just remembered that I could try ginger beer, because that can get super spicy, and I love spicy. And that was my big mistake in Sweden the first time I started it, because I think I used a jar with chili or garlic in it, and so after it had made itself and gotten to the point where I could bottle it, it just tasted like chili garlic instead of just ginger, so that was so stupid. So then I had to order a scoby, because scobies, you can make it yourself, but it takes like a month and a half to do from a bottle of kombucha. So then you can buy them online or just get them from cool people online. And I couldn't find anyone online that would just give me one. So I found this guy that would sell it to me for like €3 or €4. And he would send it to me because quarantine. But we like kept, and this is all in Lithuanian because he didn't speak any English. And most of the time I got the Lithuanian pretty good, but then Camilla laughed at one of them, and so she took over some of the communicating. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I got home late tonight, I couldn't send it. Oh, I forgot, or I was in a different city, blah, blah, blah. So finally he sent me it and was like, sorry for the lateness, I'll put in 2 scobies for you. So I got 2 for 1. And so then I was like super excited, and he did it by registered post. And so yesterday we got the little slip, so I was like, yes, after work I'm going to go, because the post office was open until 7 and I finished at 6:30. So I left straight away and went up the street, and during quarantine only one person's allowed in the post office. So I went in and I wasn't sure if I had to press the button to get a number, and the lady like gave me this look like, no, you can come. So, and she had gloves on, and I like awkwardly gave it to her like she had a disease, but I was just trying to be nice. And she's like, all right, cool. And she goes out and she brings me this box, and it's much bigger than I thought, because the scoby is only like this big. And so if you have 2 of them, it shouldn't be that big. But then I was like, oh, maybe he just packed it real weird, whatever. So then I bring it home and I open the box and it's pants. And I was like, oh, maybe this is like a special scoby bag that he's put it in. And this is really nice. And so I like unfold the pants and I can't find any scobies in it. And then I like fully like unfold them and hold up these pants, and I turn around to Camilla and she's just like, what? We both laugh pretty hard because I've just gotten these pants. Then we look at the box, and the box doesn't even have our address on it, and I just assumed like the registered mail scanner thing, it didn't need an address. But then I was like, no, that's dumb, it has to have an address. So then we're like, alright, we'll go home. We'll go back, they just gave us the wrong package. So then as we get to the door, it's 7:05, and during normal times they close at 8, but during the quarantine they close at 7, and we were just like, oh, this sucks. And we were like, yeah, but if we don't give this back to them, then the person whose pants these are won't get their pants, so we need to get it back to them. Oh, well, we'll just come back early in the morning. So I have the day off, and she has the day off. So then we were like, oh, we're in the shopping centre that has our favourite ice cream. Let's just get like sadness, we can't return these pants ice cream. So we go in, the ice cream's on sale, we buy the ice cream, and as we're leaving the store, the post office staff are also leaving the post office. So we just went around the side, and Camilla was like, we're so sorry to disturb you, like, we got given this package and it's the wrong package, and if we don't give it back to you, then the man's pants won't be given to the man, and we could just swap it if that's cool with you. And both of them were like, okay, that sucks, but let's fix this. And they were so good about it, and they went in and they looked around, and like, I think the numbers were off, but they figured out where the box was actually at. And because I had just been there, they could find the little slip and found all the stuff. And they're like, oh, thank you so much for bringing the pants back. And I was like, no, thank you. And the actual box was like tiny. So then I brought it back. And to make kombucha, you need to brew tea to a normal temperature, and then stir in all the sugar, and then wait till the sugar or the sweet tea gets down to room temperature, because the SCOBY will die if it's in boiling water. So then and then I made it in this too, this big barrel. That's 2 litres, and this is almost a litre. And so then I usually make it really strong and then put cold water in to bring the temperature down really quick. But then it didn't get down low enough, because now I have a food temperature thermometer, or a liquid one. And so I kept checking it. And then finally it was pretty much room temperature, so then I made it. So in a week, and I've got a little timer up there, and it has to be in darkness or just not in direct sunlight. So I tested that, and I don't think that gets in direct. And then this over there almost does, so I put like a shield over it. And then I was looking up different flavours last night. I'm definitely going to do like citrus or ginger and lemon first. But then some of them were doing like, the SCOBY that I got last time I was living in Lithuania, he was like, yeah, once I tried pumpkin. And I was like, pumpkin? Like, you would have to put another sweetness agent, because in the second brew, like this will ferment the first ferment, and then the second ferment you have to put it in a bottle and then add something extra to it, which is usually juice, like sugary juice, or a sugary, like oranges do awesome. It gets so fizzy with orange, and then you ferment it again. So I just don't understand how you do pumpkin. But it's going to be so fun. And I have a day off today, and I feel so good. I made coffee. We had Vashka pancakes, which was so good. Oh, I love days off. Good to see you, Bumblebee Tuna.